Hello and welcome to Breathwood. My name is David Yates, and I want to keep talking about hashtag 3-minute Didge and hashtag year of Didge. There have been some questions from newer players. They'd like to know what to play for 3 minutes when they're still really just starting out. So I want to show you the first rhythm I ever learned, which was also the first rhythm I learned to circular breathe on. I'll show you a few other simple rhythms that you can play for 3 minutes a day for a whole year. You'll be amazed at the progress by the end of the year. And then I also want to share what to do if you don't have circular breathing yet, but you still want to practice for 3 minutes straight and join in the fun of hashtag 3-minute Didge. So let me start with the very first rhythm I learned. It went something like this, and this was almost 10 years ago, so it's been a while. I think this rhythm is actually what got me circular breathing. It breaks down into 4 main parts. 2 do's. So with the drone going, inside the mouth I'm making the shape of do. Right now with no voice. The 3rd do is where the magic starts to happen. I let my cheeks expand and I let my jaw open up a little bit. Do with fully inflated mouth cavity. So that's 3 do's. The 4th do is when I squeeze the air forward and take a breath in. So you've got do, do, open, squeeze and breathe on the 4th. I'm breathing extra loud so you can hear it. Try not to breathe this loud. So if I were to start to master that a little bit and find the flow of that, it could be increased in speed a little bit, and that'll actually make the circular breathing moment a little bit easier because there won't be as much space to fill. So do, do, fill, squeeze, do, do, fill, squeeze, do, do, fill, squeeze, do, do, fill, squeeze. So that's where I started. And, obviously that rhythm in and of itself isn't the most interesting, so you can eventually edit it a bit so you're not stuck playing do, do, do for a year. It can become something like do, taka, do, where you take out a do and you put in 2 sounds that are a little faster and they fit together nicely. Do, taka, do, breath. So that's another option, a variation. You could stick with the same simplicity of do, 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 but change it to do, di, do breath, and that's quite nice. And you'll find that will really challenge your mouth, your tongue, and how you shape your sounds to somehow fit those into such a small space. Do, di, do, fill, squeeze, breathe. So there's one option and a couple of variations. Another one I really like, and this again is if you have circular breathing, is O, breath, E, breath. O, breath, E, breath. Now there are a number of different ways to approach circular breathing. In the do, do, do example, there's this moment when you expand the mouth area, and the next moment, the next sound, you squeeze and breathe in. With this one, it's a little bit more like this gentle curve. It's more like fill, squeeze, breathe. fill, squeeze, breathe. So E, fill, squeeze, breathe. O, fill, squeeze, breathe. It feels like my cheeks are kind of like parachutes. You know, when someone's falling, they drop the parachute and it goes poof, catches the air. E, catch the air. O, catch the air. E, catch the air. O, catch the air. And then squeeze it. E, squeeze. O, squeeze. E, squeeze. A little faster. And I just added voice, which is a nice layer to add to this one. Just a note that E. I tend to go a little flatter than the note of the didge. You can also go a little sharper than it. And both have a nice texture. So that's higher and lower. E, breath. O, breath. A little faster. Let's say you get that going for a while and you start to get too much air because it's so much breathing. You can breathe out. So it can be E, O, or 2 or 3 times in. E, O, and then an out. So that's another option. Now let's say circular breathing isn't working yet. What do you do for that time? And the first thing I can say to that is you want to start where you're at. So if you're just working on the drone, I hate to break it to you, but the thing you need to do is spend time with the drone. So if you're at this level, where you're kind of going in and out of the drone and finding it, what you want to do is stick with that, but break it up into smaller pieces. So instead of breathing all the way in and all the way out, you want to take a little sniff of air, blow the drone for a shorter period of time, and then sniff again. That will set you up later on for more regular breathing rhythmically. Let's say you've got the drone, and now it's a matter of something rhythmic and circular breathing isn't working yet. So let's say you've got the drone, and maybe you try the do, do, do rhythm but can't circular breathe yet. It still is useful. Maybe eventually you get a little squeeze and you get this other sound. That's okay. Make sure you breathe in, whether or not you get a sound, and you can practice this for 3 minutes, and eventually it might click, and the squeeze might give you the circular breathing link that brings the sound back to the beginning. One tip, if you're breathing in and your cheeks go from inflated instantly to deflated and no sound comes through, then what you actually want to focus on is getting the back of your mouth, your tongue, and the roof of your back of your mouth to close, like saying ah, So that's more important than the breath, but really they go together. Do, 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 Think of do, 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 as you breathe in. Do, do, or do, 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 do. That movement of like ng, and a breath in. Do, do, do. You get a little burst of air if it works right. So that's what you're aiming toward. But even without that, you can play it before you've even learned circular breathing. Same with do taka do. I suggest this often to people who are learning at the very beginning, that even if you don't have circular breathing, and even if you're still working on the drone, you can start to get rhythmic as long as you work into your rhythms a spot to breathe. So you want to get used to start the drone, then breathe, and start the drone, then breathe, and eventually it will link. So let's leave it at that. You've got a few rhythmic options. You've got an option with no circular breathing yet. If you're still getting the drone, just work on the drone for now. And here's the thing, it's okay to change your practice later on. If you're suddenly so far past your first 3-minute didge, let's say, practice for a month or two, and suddenly you take a leap forward, you can update your 3-minute didge practice to be a little bit more complex. For those of us who are already playing rhythms, like the one I demonstrated in a previous video, what we're going for is to really fine-tune how the sound works, how the mouth works during that rhythm. So for something like tawa kata waka tawa, it's worth spending a whole year on it. It's worth spending more than 3 minutes a day on it too, but that's a different story. So let's just leave it at that, and I'll invite you in the comments to leave comments about your own rhythms. If you're kind of at a beginner level, or you're an intermediate or advanced player and you have a great suggestion for a beginner level rhythm, put it down there in the comments. And if you need help, feel free to ask, let me know. And if you're not a part of the Didgeridoo Learning Community group on Facebook yet, I highly recommend checking it out. There are 2 questions you need to answer before you get accepted into that group, so make sure you do those. That link's below. If you want to support me doing videos like this and more videos like this, then check out Patreon below. Even for a couple bucks a month, you can say in a financial way, yes, do more. I think that's about it for now. So good luck with that, and I hope you join this little movement that's happening around hashtag 3-minute didge and hashtag year of didge. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. And as always, happy playing.